Good morning and welcome back to the 7 a.m. Club. Let's be honest, motivation is a scam. It's like waiting for the perfect weather to finally go outside. If we wait on motivation, we'll be waiting forever. So today's theme is momentum over motivation, building what truly lasts. How we start our Sunday sets the tone for our entire week. So welcome to the Sunday Morning Club, the show dedicated to intentional living and personal growth. I'm Faye Chappell, and on behalf of all of us here at Elevated Living, I invite you to take this time for yourself to find your center and fill up your cup. I'm so glad you're here. So you might have been waiting for motivation to strike. Consider this your friendly revolt against the scam. So let's get started, because motivation is flashy, right? It's the before and after montage, right? It's the hype speech. It's the surge of energy when you sign up for something new. But here's the catch. It never lasts. The truth is, motivation is designed to fade. So what actually works is momentum. And we've talked about this before, but we are reinforcing this today because stacking small, repeatable actions until they create energy all on their own. We have been working on this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But some of you have kind of fallen off that train track, right? So I want you to really think of the train, right? The hardest part is pulling out of the station. But once it's moving, that momentum carries it forward, and it really takes very little effort. And that's why we're talking about it again today, and that's what we're building on today. It's not hype, it's not pep talks, but practices that move you even when motivation is nowhere to be found. So let's start with closing your eyes. And I want you to think about the last time that you said, I'll do it when I feel motivated. I used to use that a lot. Maybe it was working out. Maybe it was reaching out to someone. Maybe it was sitting down to focus. I'll give you a good example of it. Last night, I had a very stressful day yesterday, and I had a choice to make, right? I had a choice. Was I going to have a glass of wine? Was I going to watch Netflix? Was I going to take an edible? What was it that would make me feel better, right? And what I realized was I needed more momentum. I didn't need to sit quietly. So I went and took a class, and I didn't want to, and I didn't feel like it, and I wasn't motivated, but I needed to move. So now recall how often motivation actually arrived when you're in the same position I was. Did it, or did you just keep waiting to be motivated? So notice what the waiting feels like in your body. Is it a heaviness in your chest? Is it really restlessness in your mind? Is it fatigue in your muscles? I want you to now imagine the opposite, a time when you took one small step, even without motivation. What did that feel like? In your journal, you guys got your journals, you can open your eyes for this. Write one word for the body sensation of waiting, and then one word for the sensation of doing. Does that make sense? So it could have been heavy versus light, stuck versus flowing. What's that contrast that was there? Because that is what we're exploring today, okay? That's what we're trying to emphasize. We talk about this over and over again, and it's really important to get it right. Motivation versus momentum. So I want you to take out your journals, and the first thing I want you to do is I want you to list 3 times, that you waited for motivation and stayed stuck. And what happened? What happened? Probably not a lot. And then number 2 is I want you to list 3 times you acted without motivation, but you gained energy as you went. What shifted? What shifted? And number 3, I want you to write one tiny action could you take on a daily basis that could create momentum, even if you don't feel like it. So what one tiny action, this is what I want you to write down, what one tiny action could you, take daily that could create momentum, even if I don't feel like it? Really think about this. This is a really great exercise because most of us, we might go to bed and we might go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start. I'm going to get up and I'm going to exercise first thing in the morning, or I'm going to write it in my journal first thing in the morning, right? And then morning comes and the alarm goes off and you go, I'm too tired. I don't want to do it. I'll wait till I'm more motivated. But instead, we want to switch that to momentum. So what we want to do, one small action could simply be, we've talked about this before, putting your shoes, your running shoes, beside your bed with your shorts and your t-shirt or whatever you're going to wear, so that you look at it, you get out of bed, you just put it on. It's momentum, it's not motivation. Or with your journal, you leave it beside your bed with your pen, so you look at it and you go, okay, I have to write. Don't really want to, but it's there waiting for me. So what is it that you can do to create momentum? You've probably heard of James Clear, right? He's the author of Atomic Habits, a really interesting book, really great if you want to read it. Even read the Blinkist short form version. But what he says is, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And I cannot say that enough, because systems is really the core of this. Motivation might get you started, your goals, but systems keep you moving, okay? Systems keep you moving. If you have a system, a morning routine, and if you haven't downloaded that, you can go to sundaymornings.club and grab the morning routines training that I have. Whatever you need that system in place so that you can keep moving forward. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's move forward a little more. Let's do some of our breath work, and we're going to do an inhale energy, exhale resistance, okay? So it's a 4-6 breathing today, and it's for steady energy. You guys are getting so much better at the breathing. So I want you to inhale through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're inhaling through your nose and you're exhaling, releasing resistance for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it quietly. I want you to keep going as I'm speaking. You're inhaling for steady energy. So you're inhaling through your nose for those 4 counts. You're inhaling energy. And as you exhale the 6 counts, you're exhaling resistance. So you're exhaling the resistance of doing nothing, right? You are trying to focus on building your momentum, right? So you inhale the energy and exhale the resistance. Breath work is hugely important. We do it obviously every single week, and we've tried a lot of different breath routines, and you can use a lot of them for different reasons. But when you connect with one, that's the one you should stick with for a while. This one is a really great one to, again, inhale energy, exhale resistance. That's the main factor of this. You're exhaling resistance, because motivation is like firework energy, right? It's bright and then it's gone, right? How many of us get motivated because we have a great idea? We have a great idea and we get all excited and then it's gone, right? I unfortunately have all those problems every day. I have ideas that come at me and I get really excited, but it's motivation, right? It's not momentum. Momentum is a steady breath. It's repeatable. It's sustainable. So this breath is your reminder that you don't need a spark. You need a rhythm, right? So when you have that motivation, that firework energy, that spark, that's really exciting, right? That you're like, I'm going to do this. What you need to do next is start with your system, your momentum. I want you to take that first step so that you will move forward on that exciting idea that you had. So let's do a little bit of visualization on that, a little bit of a guided meditation. We're going to do, let's do the brick by brick visualization. Okay. So I want you to close your eyes very calmly, and I want you to see yourself building a wall, brick by brick. And each brick is a small action. Drinking water, moving your body, writing one page, making one call. You don't wait for motivation to place the brick, you just place it. So soon that wall is rising. It's strong, it's steady, it's undeniable. And you look back and you realize it wasn't the hype that built it, it was the momentum. One small act repeated. This is really a way that you can look back and see the satisfaction of building your future one brick at a time. So I really want you to visualize that. Think of that momentum, one brick at a time. Eventually you build a beautiful wall, right? And you're like, wow, is that amazing? It's no different than when you clean your closet out, you make a big mess, but then you put things one at a time, and eventually you've created this wonderful new closet. Or you've created the same thing when you're maybe writing your book. One page at a time. Generally speaking, writers are trained to give themselves time each and every day to write. Doesn't mean that they can write a lot some days, but they do write a little because the system is to allow yourself to do it every day. I do Sunday morning each and every week. Sunday morning is my YouTube and my podcast for you. And I also film Sunday Spark, which is the LinkedIn version for more business focus. And I do it each and every week. I know the time I'm supposed to do it. I don't always feel motivated, guys. Sorry, I don't. But what I do is when I come up with a good idea, I have a tendency of, okay, I like this idea. I'm going to write what I want to talk about and what I want to do. And so therefore I am moving forward on it. So each and every week you guys join me and we have this really great conversation about what we want to do for the week ahead. So I want you to always think about, I am absolutely not motivated every single day to film, to record, to write scripts, or topics at least. And what I want you to do is feel the exact same way, understanding that you might not necessarily be motivated, but you have a system in place that forces you to move forward. So thinking about this steady energy, that's what we're really working on, right? We're working on steady energy. So when we think about moving our body or trying to ground everything in, we're going to do the same thing. There is a reason why we go through all these pillars each and every week. We come up with an idea. If you guys haven't followed along, we come up with an idea and then we start by journaling a little bit about it, by visualizing, by doing breath work, and then doing a little bit of movement, but they're all the same in terms of what we're talking about. I don't change. I don't all of a sudden do I'm not going to do, okay, I want you to go run around the block. That's not steady energy. What I want you to do is focus on steady energy around everything we do. So in terms of movement, I would say, for example, a seated or standing mountain pose. In yoga, a mountain pose is just very clear. You're standing, and I'm sitting because it's better for camera, but you're standing and it's a very strong pose. You're feeling very rooted. You can do that sitting. So as we sit, we feel very rooted into the ground, right? Our body is strong. Our shoulders are back. We feel elongated. We feel great. We feel rooted, and rooted is steady energy, right? It's the same thing with we can march in place, right? Step by step by step, marching in place gives us steady energy, right? Steady energy. That's what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on like sprints and sparks of motivation. We're thinking of steady energy. So marching in place or sitting still in a rooted position brings us that same steady energy, right? You can try doing forward reaches. So as we reach forward, right? So we reach forward as if we're pulling, and then we come back as if we're pulling momentum towards us, right? So we're reaching is the spark. We have that idea, and now we're pulling that idea towards us, right? Just forward reaches. Why do we do any of this with our body? It's to ingrain all the learnings that we have on this subject through everything, not our brain, our mind, our visualization, our breathing, and of course our body. So this week we're really focused on that steady energy, on getting those systems in place so that we can really bring those goals and what we see as motivation to actually work for us. So forward reaches, reaching and pulling that momentum, gives us it sinks into our body. So our body, when you're doing this, you're like pulling momentum right towards you. You are teaching your body that momentum's important, that we need to continually do it in order to move forward, right? Twisting side to side. We do a lot of twists, right? Every Sunday. What does that also do? It also lets go of stuck energy. Have you ever had a massage or an osteopath work on you? And what they do is they release all that stuck. That's anything that's stuck, and it's energy, right? So as we twist ourselves, if you take a yoga class or a Pilates class, you can slowly start feeling that stuck energy leaving. It is equally as important to make sure your body understands it doesn't want to be stuck. It wants that momentum just as much as your mind. So the reason we put a little bit of movement in each and every day is simply to get our body ingrained with that. So just twisting side to side. Just do it right now. You will feel yourself letting go of that stuck energy, right? When you are looser, right? They teach a lot of athletes that, right? You always see the athletes at the side, they're getting loose, right? They don't want to feel tight. They're getting loose. It's the same thing. We've loosened up our mind, our brain, our breathing, our body, everything to ensure that we don't have that stuck energy, right? And then when we're feeling good, we can put our hands on our heart. We can just breathe into that steadiness. You know, when we get our children to calm down, we always say, take a deep breath, right? Take a deep breath. You're okay. Take a deep breath. Same thing when we're trying to get steady energy for ourselves. It's exactly the same. And motivation, you know, thinking about our body, motivation is really what happens. We skip meals and we run on fumes, right? That's true, because we get excited and we're like, I don't need to eat, I'm just going. But momentum is steady fuel. So I want you to think about this week to commit to one small act of consistent nourishment, right? Maybe prepping a snack the night before, maybe eating something with protein in the morning. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be steady, right? So I have a morning routine, and again, you can download that, but I have a morning routine, and each and every morning, I do the same thing. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't get a lot of protein, so I do a protein, sort of a protein shake in the morning, every morning with some of my supplements. Why? Because I want to have a steady fuel in my body, right? And what I have noticed is I do have a tendency of skipping meals because I'm always on the go doing a lot of things. So I know that I do. So I have to at least start my day consistently, right? So that I have given my body enough fuel to keep that momentum going, right? Because again, motivation is a scam because it leaves you waiting. Think about that. Motivation is a scam because it leaves you waiting. Momentum is what carries you forward, right? So I want you here's your challenge for this week. I always leave you with something. Number one is choose one tiny action that you can repeat daily. That's your brick, right? One of your bricks. One tiny action you can repeat daily. I prefer it in the morning. I have my routines. I have my systems. So it's very simple to build my bricks during the day. Then I want you to practice that 4-6 breath when you feel resistance, okay? So when you say, I'm not motivated, I don't feel like doing this, that's what I want you to do. I want you to practice your 4-6 breath. And then I want you to track your momentum, not your motivation. See, that's the difference. What we have a tendency of doing is we track our motivation. So we write down all our goals, but then we don't actually track the momentum, the steps it took to get to our goals, or it will take to get to our goals. And that is what's going to make a difference for you this week. So if you agree with me, momentum over motivation, I want you to use that hashtag or write it down in your journal, share it in the group. If you belong to our community in our new inner circle, please go ahead and write it there, because I know it will make a massive difference to the week ahead. So I'm Faith Chappell. Thank you for starting your Sunday with me. May your week be steady, unstoppable, and built brick by brick.
And with that, our time together comes to a close. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Take that feeling of this space with you and let it guide your actions and reactions this week. I'm Faith Chappell. On behalf of everyone here at Elevated Living, I'm wishing you a week of profound peace and clarity. This episode was